Welcome to Modern Romance. Let's talk about love.
That's right. We have a special
For some
guest
reason, it
today.
hurts more the fact that he made you do that. Like, him doing it on his own is painful, but that hurt my skin, like, badly.
Yeah, hi. Alrighty, folks, ladies and gentlemen. So we have a special guest today. It's our mutual friend. And we're not gonna have her showcase herself on camera, you pervs. I mean, again, it's up to her prerogative. But the thing is, we think as her friend, we don't want her to be creeped on because she has. And I'm gonna tell you one reason why.
Why is
For
that? Why
years,
why is it wrong to display your friends in a way that people will creep on them, Zubair? Explain.
we don't want that. But you want to know why? Because for years, our I don't know. Should we mention her name, Mrs. Lady?
Her name's Trap
Who?
Queen. She's a woman,
Oh
and
no.
that's the whole point of the thing is we're bringing a woman on here to talk to Zubair about the nonsense because
Why me specifically?
why because every episode so far has been me sitting here while you speak at me about the same fucking three or four things over and over again. Not saying that that's not entertaining in its own way. It certainly is, brain rot, autism, and all that. But my perspective can only go so far because I'm another man. You can always shrug it off as like that's a guy's perspective. But if we have a girl on here to tell you that you're being insane, that might help. So
Yeah.
that's
All
the
right.
idea.
Well. But anyways, we wanted one of the basically just general topics today. And Trap Queen's more than invited to always join because we are good buddies with her, and I think that from a woman's perspective, why not? Maybe she could be the honorary, third man, ladies and gentlemen, third woman in this case. All right, she's more than especially as a woman's perspective. She's today, and us in general. We're going to talk about the women's perspective on dating, and we are looking forward to definitely her having her on next week for a Valentine's Day special. Anyways, Trap Queen, as a lady, and again, the reason why we're protecting you is because you have dealt with a lot of purrs on the YWC as what was that YouTube channel name? Tell the people.
Which one are you referring to?
Starfire or something.
That was my OG channel from years and years ago, back in 2013, dude, as our fallen friend Kyle Bruschetta would say. I had a YouTube channel where, young girl wanted to talk about wrestling. And what did I get in return? You already know. So,
Oh,
Yeah, you
you got
had
we got
literally
we got
every man ever creeping on you, which
we
was
got
interesting.
you
Well,
got
it only
woman with.
it only makes sense because
Mhm.
because there are no girls who are into wrestling. That's it's a very rare thing.
Yeah.
That's like if you found a girl that actually likes video games. You know what I mean? Like it's just such a weird like okay, odd, but you know what I mean? Not that it doesn't exist, but like, and also the fact that you're a girl that likes wrestling and you're not like fat and weird. You know what I mean? Like fucking, I expect. I already expect people who are into wrestling to be fat and weird, but I feel like if you're a woman and you're into wrestling, you're probably like five times more likely to be fat and weird for some reason, just because it's so out there. But who knows? I don't know. I say that, and then everybody's gonna comment on here and be like, "Hey, here's my fucking cousin who's hot that's into wrestling." And if you want to do that, that's fine. Go ahead and show me your hot cousin that's into wrestling. I'm completely cool with that. But um, the but no, I think that that's a big thing because you jumped right into the sausage den and it was all creeps, which makes sense again because wrestling. Uh,
Yeah.
but
What's your
yeah,
experience about that, Trap Queen? About like the whole sausage fest and how you think that affects dating, really? If you know,
how does men being into wrestling affect dating? Is that your
no,
question?
like how what you think like I'm trying to ask in terms like her perspective as a girl, and these guys are trying to perv on her. Like how does that make her feel?
well, I do think that that's definitely a problem. Well, back in the day, when you wanted to meet a girl, I mean, it's still to an extent, but much less. I know you would go to a bar, for example, right? And there would be like the hot chick at the bar that had like five or six, seven guys trying to get at her. That's kind of a stereotype that you hear about. Nowadays, a lot of our socialization and a lot of our dating, how we date, pretty much the only socially acceptable way is to go to meet somebody online. Because a lot of people do think that it's wrong to ask out a coworker or like ask out a girl that or guy that you know that's in your kind of mutual friend group circle. Like a lot of it has been localized on dating apps. And if you're just, even an average looking woman or even a not so great looking woman, you will get swarmed with like tens and hundreds of messages. And a lot of them are just like, hey, 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 or like sending you pictures that you don't want to see right away, or asking you, for like open sexual questions. So it's kind of like the bar situation from 20 years ago turned up to like 15.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe in like societal fucking barriers like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like a lot of people think it's like weird to like approach people in person, but like I'm the kind of I have like ultra autism. I just say fuck it, you know. Like I went to go donate blood the other day, and before you go up, they prick your finger to make sure your vitals are okay and everything. And I asked the girl who pricked my finger if she wanted to go out with me. She said no, she wasn't allowed, but that makes a lot of sense because it was a medical situation, right? So like if I'm a repeat guy, I come back. Let's say we went on the date and I pissed her off by accident. I come back and she's there to like stick my arm. She could just kill me if she wanted. So like, totally I understand, but at the same time, we have kind of made a thing where it's like, it is kind of odd to approach somebody in person, but that also gives you an advantage because that means nobody's doing it. So if you're doing it, you stand out.
That's definitely true, and I don't think that those barriers should even be there per se. It's just that now certain things that might have been socially acceptable even 15 years ago just aren't as commonplace anymore, and that's one of them. Where
Do you
people might
feel like
ask out someone that they work with or someone that they just know through friends. It seems like it's a lot more rare, and there is like statistics to back that up. Where like the rise in how people meet online has like skyrocketed, and everything else like school, work, church, through friends, like that's all been on the decline since around about they said about since about like 2010 or so.
Right.
I was gonna ask, do you feel with the whole idea of like cold approaching or a person like meeting, seeing someone, you know, out in public? Do you think that's again? You did mention that that's actually not a bad idea, but do you think that that's not, is sadly? Do you see that that is more likely to be ridiculed for in this day and age from your perspective?
So cold approaching is just like when you go up to like a girl that you don't know and just kind of like show interest in her. Like if you saw a girl like at your college campus or like just a girl like at the mall, basically.
It's
That's
just
what it.
like it's just like the same construct of when you see a girl at a bar, and but it's like in public, and you know you want to try to get to know her. Yeah, it's like that. You know, you just want to say hi and hey, would you like to get coffee? You know,
Okay, so I don't think that that's should be or is viewed as creepy or like wrong inherently, but I do think that in my experience, there's been a lot of guys who like took it too far, and I would try
Okay.
and say, like, I would be polite and I'm just like, thank you, but like, I'm not interested or like I'm in a relationship, and they would kind of keep like pushing back on me, like trying to convince me to respond to like reciprocate, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, you know, I'm just not with it like that. And like that's happened more than a few times where like they've really tried to like persuade me or like they haven't left me alone to like they basically gave up. Like, you get what I'm saying.
yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's all in how you do it, you know? You can't just buy bottles of water for a girl and expect her to fall in love with you right off the bat. You know what I mean? Can you turn off your camera for that?
No, no, that was actually ironic. I want to turn off my TV. Anyways.
We're not talking about anyone in this on this show that we just know someone who did that.
Oh, okay. Anyways, when I did ask you like originally, I'm not trying to interrupt. If I did, apologize. I wanted to ask, like, from your perspective, from like of like the wrestling fans or the people who basically saw you on YouTube. What was your experience like? What are your thoughts on that type of approach of how people acted towards you when in your young YouTuber days? How did that affect you? Uh, if you can answer maybe that right now, and how you think that like that influences how that basically influences either women like yourself or just in general in terms of the modern dating world.
Okay, so I do want to say right off the bat that a lot of it, especially when I first started, you know, reviewing or talking about wrestling on YouTube, a lot of it was kind of wrong inherently because I was a child, you
Yeah,
know,
a lot of
Yeah.
and I
well,
was and I was very obviously a child. So
a little
like,
boob, you get a little boob, like you know what I mean. Like,
No, what the fuck was that?
oh, it's a little in joke.
Okay.
Hmm. You know what I'm doing, right, Trap?
I do, but I'm not going to comment on it right now.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
in the post show we'll comment on that. But
Yeah.
anyway, so you wanted to know like, so okay, so we're talking about those people that my
Yeah. How did that make
experience.
you feel, and how you think like that influence? Like, do you think that contrast to like also like the sim culture issue, and or just basically just men being very pervy?
I mean, I do think that some men and women as well, but more so men do develop like parasocial relationships with these like like video game streamers on Twitch, or even just like women who might, make videos about a topic that they're particularly interested in. Like, let's just say you're a guy, you're very interested in a particular niche comic book, right? And there's this
Yes.
girl, you know, decent looking girl talking about it and showing interest in the thing that you like, that you kind of feel like you're ostracized for enjoying. You don't know this girl, but you're gonna kind of feel like you're attached to her and develop a relationship that's one sided. And we've seen that a lot happening with even just like like the infamous kind of like I'm going off on a tangent here, but like
Go
kind
ahead.
of
Go
like
ahead. Hey, listen, Trap Queen. You are a guest. We want you to make you feel welcome. This is like, as far as we're concerned, this is your time to talk, vent or whatever. You take the floor.
Were you
okay,
about
and a
to
good
bring up the
example.
Bjork killer?
Yes, I was going to talk about the guy who was obsessed with Bjork and the guy who was obsessed with Christina Grimmie.
Yeah.
To where we
I know about Christina Grimmie, but who? What's the York thing?
Bjork is like a singer. I think she's like
Oh,
Iceland.
Danish or something, or Icelandic of some sort.
okay.
This guy like developed this guy named Ricardo Lopez like just developed kind of like a one-sided
Mm,
obsession with her,
Uh,
to the point where he sent her like a bomb in the mail or something like that, and then he ended up killing
no,
himself because she wasn't reciprocating his feelings.
he killed her.
No, he
No, he
killed
killed
himself.
himself.
Oh, what a retard! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's retarded.
That's like a good example of like those two. And also, what was that guy's name? That actress Rebecca Schaefer, the same thing. Young actress that was this guy developed a one-sided relationship with her, and eventually and it ended he ended up killing her in her apartment.
Uh,
So like there isn't a way where these kind of parasocial things can go way too far, where these guys just don't have like they're just lonely and they don't have anybody. So in their mind, they've kind of created the idea that like these women really care about them when they don't.
Yeah. I'm in love with Dua Lipa, so I completely understand.
uh, oh man.
I mean, that's fine. Just don't shoot her at an autograph signing.
Yeah.
I don't even care enough to buy tickets to her show. I just think she's good looking.
What's your favorite Dua Lipa song?
I like God, what's that fucking I really like the levitating one. I like that one.
They
And I
played on
like
my graduation. Yeah.
what's the other one? I like fucking it's a newer one, Houdini. It's got like a nice like 80s synth background. It's going like boom, boom, boom. It's fucking cool. I don't know. What's yours, Zubair? Do you have a favorite one?
Uh, I mean, levitating is a popular one. I think what was that?
Do
I
you picture yourself as the baby when that song comes on?
no. I'm just
You
like
see
thinking. Hey,
yourself in his shoes. Didn't he shoot somebody in a Walmart or something?
no, I don't know. Anyways,
I might have
what's
made
the
that up.
song?
I don't know. Whatever.
what's that song like? Something that song. What is it? Like, is that it's her song like? Um, I don't know. She has like that song where she kind of had like a deep voice.
That's
Um,
all of them. But anyway, so here's my question. Uh, is Zubair unable to get girls because he's ugly?
He's not ugly.
There we go. There
I
we go.
okay. All right. We're not gonna make this about
Zubair's a
me.
good-looking guy, and he has nothing to worry about. There's no pretty privilege holding him back.
Appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna. I mean, we'll ask a bunch of questions, but I definitely want to just have like Trap Queen take the floor and talk about what she wants to talk about in terms of dating.
Okay. All
Um,
right. I'll
but we'll
shut
get
the
to it.
fuck up.
No, dude. Anyways, Trap Queen. I know you. I mean, you actually kind of like already gave your stance on basically modern dating, but just let's. You may rephrase it, but just give your stance on in general. And I think we're hearing background noise. Are we hearing like I'm hearing myself?
Oh,
I
I don't
don't.
hear
There's
you.
nothing. I just have my fan on. There shouldn't be anything
Oh,
else on my
good.
end.
Okay. So Trap Queen, give us your, basically, I'm gonna ask you two questions and you just answer it right now. What do you think is love, right? What you think that's love essentially, and what's your thoughts on just in general with dating at this moment?
Okay, so I would define love as being when two people decide that they they love it. That sorry, I shouldn't use the word love when I'm defining love, but I think it's a thing of mutual respect. I think it's a thing where you love each other regardless of conditions that might change in your life. If someone gets sick, or if they like, basically love is not built on material goods or surface level things. I think that love is a connection between two people that is, I don't want to say fully unconditional, because I do think that love should be conditional in some aspects, but I think that it's people who respect each other and want to spend the rest of their lives together. And also, I also think that even if someone claims to love you, it isn't always love, because if someone abuses you or someone's just an asshole or a prick to you, that's not love.
That's very true. If someone's beating the shit out of you, they don't love you. That's I agree with that.
Or even if someone is just unfaithful to you, they don't love you,
That's true. Yeah,
regardless
yeah.
of what they say.
Don't be fucking around on your loved ones. It's
All right.
wrong.
And yeah, you already kind of phrased it already, but I think I was kind of hoping you were going to answer the other question, but you did mention it. You could rephrase all you want, but you could just give us your full on statement, your full on thoughts on the current dating market, the current dating world, as you can say. Give us your full
Give
event.
us your modern dating mission statement.
Yeah, that's the word I was trying to say. Yeah, give us your little mission statement, Trap.
Okay, I definitely think that the state of modern dating could definitely be better. But I think that it's a symptom of a larger problem, where we're having these issues, or people are in relationships or in situationships where, people aren't going to commit to each other, or they're kind of fucking around each other, stringing each other along. I think we see that maybe more so now than we used to, where people are kind of chasing commitment out of each other, but they're too, like, a lot of people are kind of unwilling to just kind of give it all. A lot People are a lot more guarded, in my opinion, and unwilling to kind of just like lay it all out on the table. Like, I like you, let's try and start something here. I think people are a lot more unwilling to take risks, or take or kind of, they want to wear their heart on their sleeve, basically.
So that's that. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or you think that's the? Because I feel you got more to say, Trapster.
I mean, asking me about my opinion on the state of current dating is, it's definitely a loaded question, where there's a lot of different, like, it's not just a straight up answer. Like, there's a lot of things that go into that. So I think that maybe if we continue
Talk about it.
talking.
Talk about it. Listen, this is your time to shine. Talk about it.
Do, do you realize, like, if you're trying to be an interviewer, you have to have questions and not
I'm
just
gonna
tell
ask the
someone to talk?
questions. I'm gonna cast,
Then
and you
what
can
are
ask.
they?
Okay, let's say that. Okay, I'm gonna. You mentioned about the whole. First of all, before that, give us your little dating history. How about that? If you're
Yeah,
comfortable,
go
if you're
over your.
comfortable,
If you
I
don't want
feel
to do that,
comfortable.
don't let him fucking tell you to do that.
Nigga.
That's ridiculous. Like if you fucking don't want to tell us about your dating history, that's
Okay,
silly.
well, give us like a summary, because the reason why I asked that, because we gave our experience. Actually, how about I should rephrase that? How about give a little bit of your experience from what you know as a woman and what you have done in your dating life? How about that? If you're comfortable.
Okay, so I'll give a very brief summary, I
Yeah.
guess. Two semi long term relationships, a couple flings that didn't really end up anywhere, and I'm currently in a relationship.
And how's that relationship going?
It's fucking
Poorly.
horrible. I hate it.
Oh, well, what's so bad about this guy? Tell
This
me
guy,
what's wrong with this guy? Oh my god!
the
And why?
problem, the problem is
Ugly,
that this,
Italian, and retarded.
the problem with this guy is that he's a John Cena mark, and he doesn't understand the importance of John Cena putting the young talent over. Okay, and that's my biggest problem.
And how long you been dating this guy? Or has this been
Too
a really
long.
too
Too
long?
long.
Too long. So what's but that sounds like a nice committed relationship there. What the fuck? I
No, but
thought
he doesn't understand that John Cena has 5 moves of doom, okay? And
so
that John Cena wears colorful t-shirts and make him look like a fruity pebble.
so fucking what?
That's fucking badass.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone who doesn't understand how badass that is can go fuck themselves.
Mm.
Best wrestlers of all time: John Cena, Hulk Hogan, Dolph Ziggler, and Joe Hendry. The top four. That's the wrestling Mount Rushmore.
You know what? Well, fuck it. We gotta turn this to a wrestling chat. Emery, talk about your love of wrestling, please. I love it when you talk about wrestling.
I, well, ever since I was a young boy, I was really into wrestling. I was watching WWF on the TV. I thought it was great. I was kind of pissed off when they changed over to WWE, but I was only a little kid at the time, so I didn't really have a lot of time to fucking deal with that. That happened, and then as time went on, I decided to become my own wrestler under the name Big Boy Clayton, and then that kind of failed. I really never made it in the industry, and I have a certain hatred for it now.
God damn it! I was hoping you were being really sarcastic. Damn it. That was fun. Trap Queen, of course, is a big wrestling fan. We're all big wrestling fans, including Big Boy Clayton over here. Yeah, but we're gonna move away, sadly, from wrestling. We'll talk about wrestling another time. Actually,
But I
that's
want to talk about how Cena's burying all the young talent.
oh, go ahead, go ahead, and let's talk about how that ruins dating. Come on, tell the people, Trap. Why do you think that ruins dating?
You ever
Listen,
see Peacemaker? He was good in that.
but he's not putting anyone over, okay? They're all just getting buried out there. His
Mm-hmm.
work rate is not up to par these days, okay? He gets gassed in the ring.
That's
And
fair.
I think that it's time to put some of the younger talent over, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe give them a mid-card title, see how they do. Maybe have them win the Rumble, and that's
Yep.
how a star is created.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
How do you
Seeing
know who that is? He's not even in WWE.
He is a good friend of my friend Lane. They're buddies, apparently.
I
So
couldn't believe when I found out. By the way, Trapster.
that's how I know who Joe Hendry is. Lane was in a call with me one time and was telling me, he's like, "Yo, I've been talking to Joe Hendry." I was like, "All right, cool. I don't know much about who that is." And then he said, "I believe in Joe Hendry." That's funny. And I was like, "Is it funny?" I think it's kind of lame. But then I started saying it, and now I think it's kind of funny. Yeah, why? I don't know who he is. Why do
You
I
were
believe in him?
converted. You were converted. I mean, I thought that was just some stupid, dumb trend, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, it is. He's a one guy in terms of outside of WWE that actually managed to got himself over. Will you agree, Trapster? If you even know who that is.
I kind of know who he is. I know he's like the TNA World Champion or something right now, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Isn't
he's not the only guy who found made probably more success. I mean, I know he was never in WWE, but he's not the only guy who's made a career, been able to make a career out like not being in WWE. There's a few other guys
well,
like that.
true, but like in terms of like actually like being known, in this day and age,
Is he well known?
not well known, but like
He is
let's just
now
say
because of Lane.
he's like well known compared to a lot of AEW guys. Let's just say that.
But AEW has Chris Jericho. Everyone knows Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I mean, okay, well, let's say like aside from like, okay, what I mean
Listen,
by
AEW. Listen, AEW has the Butcher. Okay, you're gonna say that Joe Hendry is more popular than the Butcher. Okay,
yeah,
I fucking am.
yeah,
I
what
believe
about
in
the
Joe
Blade?
Hendry.
they're a tag team, but I don't know why I remember that Butcher and the Blade.
You totally don't watch every week, right, Super?
I I don't care. I just
Yeah,
it's
he's a real non-wrestling fan, guys. He hates
yeah, I hate wrestling. I fucking hate it.
Super, you had Raw in the background when I first joined the call.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Raw. Let's do an impromptu review. What are your thoughts on Raw?
It was pretty not like pretty. I mean, first of all, you're trying to ruin my video views. You're trying to kill my ratings by getting me to do my review before I
No,
post
no,
it.
I'm just
exactly. If we
fucking.
can't let people watch Modern Romance before
Oh
Thursday
yeah,
night,
everybody subscribe to Trap. Oh yeah, I was gonna let you do in the end, but you'll do it again. Shout out your bunch of channels once you want. Do what you talk about what you do on your channel.
All right, everyone subscribe to Trappy Talks the Truth. Okay, I do no nonsense, 100% the facts, real raw analysis on wrestling. Okay, I dissect people's work rate, I dissect their heart rate. I can tell you if they're a superior worker or not. I can tell you if they're burying all the young talent. I can tell you who's not going to get over. So subscribe. Listen, I know more than Jim Cornette. Okay, so subscribe to Trappy
absolutely.
Talks the Truth. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't watch Trappy Talks the Truth and you like wrestling, that makes you a mark.
Listen, if you like wrestling and you're not subscribed to me, who the fuck are you?
Yeah,
Okay, can you even call
exactly.
yourself a
Exactly.
fan?
You're
One
a fake wrestling fan and you deserve nothing more than to be tortured and raped. I
one
shouldn't have said that in the live show. You can cut that out if you want to.
one question. Why are you called Talks the Truth? Why is that?
Well, Zubair, I just told you I offer 100% real raw analysis, no frills, no BS, serious analysis on wrestling.
What
Okay.
was wrong with Trappy though, or Trap Queen, or what was wrong with Raven Starfire, and what was wrong?
Well,
Is
because this is a new era. First, before that, I was just a young jobber, kind of up and coming, just goofing around. Now this is the serious era. Okay.
Are you sure Trappy that talks the truth? It's not a mockery of Zubair, who always says the truth, motherfucker.
I didn't know that that was a thing that you did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we
Um,
always thought you were a liar. But the
uh, what?
I do want to note, just so the Zubair Brigade doesn't try and cancel me, I don't actually want people to be physically harmed for not subscribing to Trap Queen. It would just kind of hurt my feelings if they didn't.
It would be kind of nice if they did, but we're
Well,
not
I
gonna.
mean,
We don't
that's what
endorse
you
we
want.
don't endorse violence here, but we might, just be okay with it, permissive of it.
Of course
Trapster,
not.
what's your thoughts on liars, hypocrites, pedophiles, straight up retards, and fucking weirdos?
Did you?
What the fuck
Did
is
you?
that?
I like how it looks like you were reading that off of a script, Zubair.
Did he
I was not
read
even
that? What
reading.
was that?
He's
Why?
quoting Will.
Oh,
I don't know. I wasn't even reading a script. I just made it seem like what
that's
they're liars, they're hypocrites,
strange.
they're pedophiles.
So I got a question for Trap
What's your
Queen. I have been subscribed to Zubair ever since I've known him. But I've never sat and watched an entire Zubair video all the way through, except for his Halloween review. Are they a lot like this, where it's just pointless, like aimless rambling with no like coherent point?
Okay, so I'm gonna get heat from this from Zubair,
Okay,
and he might get angry at me.
okay,
But like, I would say at least 85% of his videos he does about wrestling, like his reviews, he's just like stealing like little like tidbits or bits from like WJ and Smart Busters.
You're not wrong. You're not
Like,
wrong.
okay, can I give you an example?
Sure.
So he starts off every video like when let's just say he's reviewing Raw, right?
mm-hmm.
He'll
That's
start up
intentional.
every video like, "Alrighty, it is time for your late, out of date Raw review," which is how WJ used to start every
Mm-hmm.
single Raw review that he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So it's like Zubair just like decided just to steal that verbatim in his video, like in his videos.
that's right. That's right.
Well, I I'm not completely surprised. I guess. I mean, but I kind of always thought that's what Zubair kind of was, right, for these people. was the Smartbusters don't exist anymore, so they watch Zubair videos because it fills that void, because it's like watching a Smartbuster video being done by this other guy.
Well, not even that though, because it's like smart. It's like diet Smart Busters. It's like basically like, let's just say like Smart Busters or Coca-Cola, right? Zubair's videos are like a diet Shasta Cola version of that.
Oh no. Oh
What was that supposed to
no.
mean?
It means a really, really, really bad
Re-
imitation
Damn.
of the
Damn,
actual
damn my bestie really involved me like
I mean,
that.
Zubair, I'm not trying to be like I said, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just kind of being honest.
I
Like I
mean,
think he.
I'm not denying that, but
I,
damn, you could have been nice.
I want it on the record. I love the Zubair Halloween video. That was a great video. He walks up to those two girls, and he's like, is after he saw Halloween, and he's like trying to rizz up these two chicks outside of the fucking.
That was my first cold approach. I
It
think.
was so fucking funny. He walks up and he's like, I got these two cute Halloween fans that want to be on video, and he like asks them like 2 or 3 fucking questions. And as he's walking away, he whispers into the camera. He says, "Two cute chicks."
That's actually, I think that's probably my first ever legit cold approach.
so,
I'm
but it
not-
was a historic moment. That's why you got it on film.
I
That
that was
a beautiful
unplanned.
video. That was a fucking great video.
Like I mean, again, like meeting girls beforehand was like through like class and stuff like that, right? But that was like probably like my legit, cold approach where I never knew these two girls, but I was actually I don't know. I mean, they were both cute, whatever.
They were like nice to you though. It wasn't like,
yeah, they were nice.
yeah, they were like, yeah. So
Which
it
is
wasn't
straight
like
up. It's just like I know damn well. Like I mean, looking now,
that
they
if
would
you
never
weren't
be
an
go-
ugly brown short guy that they would have loved you, right?
No, they would never gone out with me. Again, let's be honest. Like Trap Queen, you said it before. I'm just the gay best friend type, sadly. So
Well, you can do things to change that though.
okay, well we'll talk about that. Anyways,
We should. That's what we should talk about. A chick telling you what to change about yourself to make
let's
you more
save that
appealing.
last.
Are you shitting me? That's gold right there.
We're gonna save that last.
Okay,
We're gonna ask some
fine,
questions for Trap.
fine.
Anyways, Trap Queen. Oh man, I forgot. We got off a tangent. This is unplanned and unwritten. We just go off. Just think.
Zubair's shooting from the hip.
There
Yeah.
is no script here, believe it or not.
I forgot what I was gonna ask you in terms of dating. Yeah. Okay. What's your thoughts on We already asked you about like the modern dating thoughts. Okay. What's your thoughts on like again the relationships? You want to dig in deep of that, like thoughts on just relationships in general and the situationships.
Relationships in general.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I do want to talk about is that I feel like over the past couple years, I mean, this has kind of always been lingering around, but over the past couple years, we've seen like the rise of of guys like Andrew Tate, rise of like the Whatever podcast, rise of Fresh and Fit, right?
Mm-hmm.
These guys are very influential to, I would say, the population of guys, let's just say 18 to 30 years old, right? And my problem with them is that the way they speak about relationships is that everything is transactional. Everything is about what you can offer the woman, which in their mind is literally just like having money, having expensive cars, looking, having muscles, having, just it's all material or surface level things. And same thing with the women. They say, what are the things that women offer men? It's always we want her to be quiet and we want her to look hot and we want her to be submissive. That's what they always say. And like that's not an exaggeration. Like that's what a lot of those like Manosphere type of influencers say. Like Fresh and Fit is a very mainstream podcast. Andrew Tate's a very influential guy, and they actually do say things like that. They say that it's okay for guys to be polygamous and have multiple women because women just don't have any inherent value. It's all about their looks and what they can offer them at the time. Everybody's just kind of a means to an end. And I think that that's definitely become a problem. We have all these younger guys who are listening to them. Listen, there's some maybe positive things that they say about, hustling and working yourself up and improving yourself that you can take, but take everything that they say with a grain of salt. And I feel like a lot of people who watch them have taken it at 100% face value.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. Like whenever I watch the Whatever podcast, and I do every now and again, but like whenever I do, it's never like I'm going into it thinking this is going to be something I'm going to learn from. It's always, this is just dumb entertainment, you know? Like
Just
people,
background noise trash, but people do take it seriously.
yeah, they do. And it's not, that's not healthy at all. And it's just, again, like, it's the same problem I have with when like people say like when Zubair talks about like pretty privilege, or like when anybody tries to put like a label on stuff, or like tries to quantify it. When you're talking about relationships, or you're talking about like really deep stuff like that, like a connection with somebody or like a social situation, there's so much shit that goes into it. There's so much like underneath the surface stuff going on with people's feelings and the way the things they've already been through and the stuff that they're thinking about already and the things that they're into. And like, it's, you can't be putting labels and things on, like it's so multifaceted and complicated and deeper than it looks on the surface. And like, to try and put these things on it where it's like, I'm gonna get a woman who cares about me if I do A, B, and C, if I work out, if I do all this shit, it ignores so much like important stuff that is important between people, like actual things that are going on underneath the surface. And it's all very, I don't know, it's very, like you said, transactional and surface level. And it makes it a transaction. It doesn't make it like a natural connection that you have with somebody, because it's not something you can put a label on. It's not something you can put numbers on. It doesn't work that way.
And it
Mhm.
comes to the point where, like, with the way they speak about relationships, it's basically that, like, they're basically just status symbols to each other. Like, the woman is a status symbol to you.
Right.
And in
Yeah,
this,
there's no actual point in it other than like, yeah, it's kind of about showing off.
Yeah, I mean that's something we can we talked about before, Emery. Like that's everyone seems to like only care about like showing off. Like that's the whole idea of social
Yeah,
media and shit like
it's
that.
too surface level. It's not, there's nothing.
Yeah, it's not. It's really. That's also something I want to ask. Like, so we're gonna rephrase like some of past topics we mentioned, and we're gonna associate with you trap to even talk about it. Even topics we haven't talked about. So again, you mentioned the whole idea of pretty privilege. What are your thoughts of that? Like the whole term in general. Like, do you believe it's real or not? And do you? What's your thoughts of it in general?
I mean, I do believe that you probably do get treated better by and large if you are conventionally attractive. I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's true. I think that sometimes when people are viewed as ugly, or if they're fat or something like that, they are kind of viewed as less than or just kind of ignored. Not all the time, of course, not everybody is like that, but there's a lot of like implicit things where someone might treat you better because you are better looking.
Mm-hmm. Um, we mentioned the whole manosphere. What's your thoughts on incels in general? What's your thoughts from the incels who are the men who, don't take accountability, the men who basically, they blame women, and even the ones who, they're not even like the stereotypical incels, the ones who are just, they're lack of luck, they do try, but they just, don't get any luck. What's your thoughts on like the bad incels and the good incels, and what you would your be like your solution to like what they can do and improve on.
I don't want to be one of those people who just like sits here and like bashes incels and makes fun of them, because I think that it's more complicated than that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them I do definitely feel a lot of sympathy and empathy for. There
Mm-hmm.
is definitely like a contingent of the incel community, though. It's like the really fringe side of it that like they're just absolutely insane. Like they kind of just like they don't have anything else. Like that they kind of just cling to like these like vague ideas and like very I'm sorry, very like fringe and very like vague ideas about what they think relationships and women are like, but they don't actually know. But there's also like a contingent of guys where it's just like they cannot, they're just having trouble getting women. And I wouldn't classify those guys as incels. I think incels is more of a very specific term where like you have a certain mentality about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I also just think it's weird. I was watching a fucking Bill Maher podcast the other day, and he brought this up talking about incels. He was like, he said, "How lame is it that you can't get laid, and instead of going out and trying to get laid, you created a community of guys that can't get laid."
I do think that like like if you look at the incel like forums and like there even used to be like an incel Reddit, like it used to be very accessible. Now you kind of have to really look for it. But it's a certain, it's not just about not getting women. There is like a certain mentality about like they have beliefs that like people are inherently very dark and that women are attracted to very, very dark traits of men. Like they're attracted to men who want to kill and rape them. Like they believe that women have like rape fantasies and killing
Right.
fantasies. Like it's
You
Very
very
actually
like
certain
think that's true
people.
for some reason? Because I just think that those are psychos. But okay, as a woman, this is why you're here. Can you confirm from your perspective, and even if you know for some reason with other women, do you actually have a rape fantasy for some reason?
What the fuck kind of question is that
I
to
mean,
ask
I'm
somebody?
asking, bro. I don't even think. I don't know why people think that.
Do you? All right. Do you have a rape fetish, guest?
I'm doing this for the funny thing.
okay, rape is bad. I don't have a rape. I don't have a rape fantasy.
Yeah,
Good. Good.
if you
Oh,
have
good.
that going on, I'm not saying you're a bad person, but you definitely have something wacko going
I
on
just think
there,
that
and
that's
you need
fucking
to
retarded.
reconsider
Who the hell
that.
does? Who the fuck ever thinks like that's like I don't know. I'm like the reason why
Some
like
people do have that, and I'm just saying that if you
that's
have
just
that, like you should re-examine your brain. Like there's
that is
something
just
going
fucking
on, and you should
yeah.
probably, before that turns into something really bad, you should you should reevaluate yourself.
So hopefully the people that are watching, hey, a woman here literally says they don't fucking think about rape or they don't want to fucking have that shit. Okay.
Wow, what a revelation!
I mean, this is why we got Trap Queen here. It's very
Yeah, that's why we
important.
have this show. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. Okay, going back to the whole incel thing, the arguments of incels. Do you believe the whole term? What's your thoughts on this whole term of looks, money, and status? Do you believe that's actually a thing, or like, would you believe it? That's what people care about in dating. What are your thoughts on the whole that whole term? And
I
I know
mean,
you.
there are some women who that's all they care about, but those aren't really the type of women that you'd want to attract anyway.
Mhm.
I mean, I
And
do think that obviously being attractive is a big part of finding a relationship, but that's normal. Like that's been a thing for a very long time. Like you
mhm.
don't want to be with someone who you're not attracted to.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Like that's just a normal thing. I feel like nobody should be shamed for saying that.
Mhm.
Money, I mean, like I said, there's are some women who all they care about is money, but those aren't really the kinds of women you want to surround yourself with anyway. Um, and then status. So status could mean a lot of things. What would you say that it means in that context, Bear?
Status, I guess, in terms of again, it could be like if they're like well known, they're associated with certain people that are like celebrities, just stuff like that. You know, that gives you a higher tier. Like
Yeah,
you're,
just their social status.
yeah,
Like
Okay.
if they're
Well,
the
I do
president's
think.
son.
I mean, being like famous and being like an influential figure, they're such a minority that I don't think it really matters to the average woman. I do think that maybe being a guy that they see as well respected in like a smaller context could be an attractive trait for sure.
mm-hmm.
Because like you don't, I hate to say it, but like there are women who aren't going to be attracted to a guy who they see is not getting any kind of respect from other people. So I think that it does. I think that it does matter to an extent in certain contexts, but it's not all women care about. There's a lot of men. First of all, can I just say there's
Sure,
a
go
lot of
ahead.
men out there, and I've seen this firsthand. The guy is weighs about 99 pounds, no money, addicted to drugs, has no job or anything like that, and women will like, for lack of better terms, simp for that guy. It's a real thing. Like I'm sure you guys
Yup.
have probably seen that in the past, where the guy
Shit,
is
I'm
literally
living
not
that right now.
the guy is literally not worth shit, but the women for something, so he just has something about him that women are drawn to him.
Where
Yeah,
was this?
that's a no. She ain't
No, that's 100%
bullshitting.
a
That's
real
fucking
thing.
real as fuck.
Who's this guy? The
So
fuck?
I know. So I have an example. I don't want to drop the man's name. That would be because that would be bad. Uh, but I do know a fella from the U.S. who was a good buddy of, or not good buddy of mine. He was somebody who I was acquainted with, who was, he lived with someone who was paying his bills. He had no job. He was online all day, always on Facebook and group chats, and he constantly had attractive women from different parts of the world sending him nude photographs and trying to simp for him and trying to go out with him and all this shit. And it was, yeah, he was just some fucking loser. But like, it was, it's what happens. I mean, that happens sometimes. Like it's not exclusive to one side or the other. I mean, like that can happen to a guy that's just some fucking loser. I mean,
It's
It
so
does happen a lot. Like you would, Zubair, I think you would be surprised. It does
yeah, you
happen.
would be
it's like what kind of luck do they have?
It's just like
That's
I feel
not
like they
luck.
just
That's
kind
a
of.
fucking loser. You should not fucking envy those guys at all.
Well,
Nobody
I
should
mean,
envy those
listen,
fucking
yeah, you're
guys.
right, because like we have a mutual friend that shames me, and like wants to fucking say like, oh, I got girl, does it hurt? Would it hurt your feelings that I got girls? Wink, wink, certain Jew. Listen, I don't fucking care. You're an asshole. Okay, if you fucking act like an asshole. I don't fucking care. Okay, you're an asshole who gets girls. I'd rather fucking be a fucking good person. I'm not the most perfect person. I'm not. I'm gonna fucking be straight up. Okay, there's only one good person in the world, the best person in the world, and that's God Himself. Okay, and that's also Jesus Christ. Uh,
Wow.
okay, listen,
Whoa.
you have to understand that we're all human. We're all just trying to do better. All right. I'm just trying to do better. I know I'm not. I made mistakes and shit like that. I'm not a fucking great bird. Right? I do the best I can.
Did you say
Wait,
you're
so
not a
Zubair, you're
groiper? I'd
praising.
hope not.
But listen, I'm trying to talk.
Sad thing is that he's probably whiter than most groypers.
What?
That's very fucking true.
I, I, I don't know. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not wonderful. I'm not a one. I'm not like a good individual. I always try to do better. I'd rather be that than just some fucking asshole, and then maybe get all these fucking bitches and whatever. Maybe that saves myself. Like maybe there is a blessing in disguise that certain like I haven't probably gotten with certain women, because maybe that saved me for the one right person, hopefully in the future, that I'm hoping to pray to be with one wonderful lady that's worth waiting for.
You
And
just need
I
to ring
I don't get
Mary.
fucking bunch of STDs and shit like that. Okay, let's say that maybe that's something I could say. Um, what so Trap Queen, from a girl's perspective, what do you think men can do to get a girl if they're not even conventionally attractive?
Yeah. What do you think Zubair can do to improve
Why
himself? Is the
me?
question.
I mean
Because
specifically.
that's
I don't
that's what
care.
that's the
I can catch
crescendo.
trapping this outside. I'm talking about in terms of my fucking or our fucking viewers. For
This
people,
is for the viewers now.
why
Fucking
me?
what
Okay,
can
later,
Zubair do
later.
to
We're
fix
gonna get to me
himself?
later, okay? But trapping, talk about in general for the guys.
Okay, well, first of all,
Like, what's your
do you guys
thoughts?
get comments at all?
Fucking,
Yeah.
we got like one or two.
Okay.
Somebody said something last time on the last one that like I don't even, like it was ridiculous. I didn't even know what they were talking about, and it was just gibberish, and it was just fucking like I don't know. I just have the feeling that anybody that's sitting here and watching this entire thing is either A, friends with us, or B, fucking insane. Like, why would you watch this to the 47-55 minute mark?
Okay, so Zubair, you wanted to know what I think that men can do if they're not conventionally attractive
and
to find
even
a
like
girl.
and even like the men, like they done all this shit, like they probably like done everything right. They look smacks, they go to the gym or whatever, but they're still struggling regardless, but they're just not viewed as conventionally attractive. What they should do, or give like both answers if you can.
Okay, well, in my opinion, I do think that attraction is a big part of dating, but I have met and seen a lot of men who I would say were objectively ugly or objectively like fat that still got a girl.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not impossible. It's not just because, someone might find you unattractive.
How you think like those guys got the girl though, if you know?
How do I think they got the girl?
Yeah, even if they're like so apparently like the biggest loser, like how does that happen, if you know?
Um, so I think that in my opinion, I mean, I have no evidence, scientific evidence to back this up, but I think that women are more likely to accept an unattractive guy if he is like funny or he has charisma or he has something else about him
Mm-hmm.
that makes the woman attracted to him. Like there's a reason why they made Beauty and the Beast and it wasn't the woman wasn't the beast.
Right,
Do you get what
exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Yeah, but
yeah,
the thing is,
because
I
they're just
feel like
wired different.
yeah, the thing is again, the Beauty and the Beast, like, and this is like a funny thing, like about like charisma. We watch wrestling, right? It's again like whatever if you look like somebody, if you or look like don't look average. So Batista, for example, tall, muscular dude. You know, when we our old pal Righty would talk about how the guy has natural charisma, right? Um, how can a guy get natural charisma then if you or like if you're not but if you're not like a Batista? How
Well,
you think?
the key word there is natural.
Say
I
that
mean,
again.
don't be a fake person.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Definitely, I think that everybody can kind of they have like I think everybody is capable of having a niche for themselves if they realize what their strengths are when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to interacting with others. Like they might be funny and they didn't even realize it because they're so busy trying to do something else. They didn't realize maybe that they're funny or they're charming in a very specific way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think definitely figuring out what your strengths are when it comes to communication,
Mm-hmm.
that can definitely help.
Mm-hmm. It's like but I think like if even if that works, like those weirdos that do get girls, I feel like it's because they were forced to be in that situation, you know. But not everyone has that chance. Like for example, that could be because they meet through school, they meet class and all that kind of stuff. Maybe a social setting, maybe through family gatherings, friends gatherings. So that's probably makes it easier. How would you think like how would it be in terms of if you don't have that luxury where you can meet through school or in general like how can like maybe just in general like just the whole idea of cold approaching.
Okay, so you're asking so basically like if someone doesn't have a pool of maybe women that they could connect with that's
Yeah,
already built in, like they're not in school or they don't have a large friend group that might include
yeah.
a lot of women.
And you can also include like what would help that you can mention way uh before answering that kind of question. You can mention like what should do men even do to improve. I mean again that would go for before the whole self improvement idea answer because I asked you if you can answer both, but you could definitely go dig deep into that.
Yeah, both.
Okay, so in my opinion, if you don't have like this pool of people where you can just like maybe like find a girl that maybe you find interesting out of that whatever kind of group you're in. I mean, you just kind of it's just a thing where you just kind of have to keep I mean, I'm trying to think of like a good way to phrase this. Like it's just kind of a thing where you just kind of have to keep trying to find situations that could put you in there. Like I would say one tip that I have in my opinion is accept any kind of social invitation that you get. Even if you don't even really want to go, it's a lot better than staying at home where you have no chance of meeting somebody. Go, it might be all guys there. You don't know. You might have a good time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's definitely like I would say accept every invitation that you get because
Mm-hmm.
it's even if you don't find anybody that day or like you don't meet a girl that you find interesting, you have you have a 0% chance if you just stayed at home.
Before I'm sorry if I interrupt, but I think that should be like life should be about making moments. It should not always be about dating. I think we should definitely mention that
Well, yeah.
when if you focus so much about finding, and I struggle with this at times, like life is more than just about pussy, right? Yeah, for a guy, no offense, trap queen, life is more than about pussy or even freaking dick. Okay,
Yeah.
it should be about just interaction. Just what you want to do what the hell you want to do, making moments, making memories that can lifetime, and that and then involves hanging out with the bros. Do that even with the with you and your girlies, trap queen, like that's what you want to do.
And also just having regular social interaction and like just hones your own social skills so that when you do want to talk to a girl, you're not like completely 100% like awkward because you've been isolating yourself.
That's
Yeah,
right.
go outside.
Mm, that's right. Anything else you want to talk about in terms of that?
I mean, I'm just the guest, you guys.
Okay. Well, I thought like I don't know. What about okay? What's your I guess your answer in terms of people who already like basically self improve but they still struggling? Because it seems like there's a lot of people like for example, and this is why I think they're known as the gym cells. That's what they're called. Like these are people who work out and whatever. They go to the gym and they're cool dudes, they're liked, but they still can't get girls. Like, what's your solution to those men?
I mean, I don't really know how many of those guys really are those guys actually cool and well liked, or is that just something that they're saying like about themselves?
I,
Because we have no way of knowing if they're cool and well
Right.
liked.
There's no
I
way
mean,
to
again,
say.
I'm just like going along from like just in general from people who seem like good dudes, right? They take care of themselves. They have no reason to really have an issue, but they still do because they're not even viewed as good enough. So what would you say, like for even just people in general who are just not viewed as good enough, despite seeing nothing wrong with them?
I mean, like it's hard for me to really give advice on that. I'm
Yeah,
not
like
like
what
I'm
is
not a
that?
dating coach, but
Mhm.
I will say like don't just give up on yourself because of that. Because even if you can't find anybody, taking care of yourself and going to the gym and trying to interact with others is not just something you should be doing just in the hopes of finding a girl.
Agreed.
You should just be doing that because it's good for yourself.
Agreed. So you think it's all God's plan? Like you maybe sometimes it's worth waiting.
I really do. I really do think that when relationships happen when they're supposed to,
Okay.
I know that's very cliche to say, but I do feel like there is someone out there for the majority of people. I mean, there is like a small group of nut bars who probably can't find anybody, or they might be with each
Yeah.
other amongst each other. But
That's such a funny thing. I mean that. Yeah, I agree.
And some people
Thoughts
are
on
just better off alone, and there's no shame in that.
and yeah,
yeah, some
what's your
people are just
thoughts?
like they're just into themselves and they don't really want a relationship. That's fine as well. Like,
Thoughts on the people who the whole idea they seem like can't find anyone, and even people who have always never really found anyone. Like thoughts on that, and do you think that's not a bad, like not necessarily a bad thing, where maybe not everyone is needs to be in a relationship, like or it's like probably an okay thing to not be in a relationship.
I mean, definitely, yeah. I think some people just aren't relationship people. Like they're just solitary people where they don't really care to have a romantic relationship or even like many friendships. Some people are just like that. Some people prefer their solitude. I would say that maybe they're the minority, but they do exist and it's perfectly fine to feel that way.
Okay.
No,
Um.
you should be forced into a social situation.
So before I ask like a few, yeah, I kind of wrote down some questions just to keep that in mind. What do you look for in a guy as a girl, or what do you think?
You're a goofball.
Thank you. What do
Okay.
you? Yeah. Or like, we'll talk about the guy you're with, the wonderful guy who loves John Cena, and what do you like
The guy
about
who
him?
won't put out
What do
the
you
guy
think
who
from your perspective, from girls and whatever? What do you think girls look for in a guy? Not just you necessarily.
Okay, well, in my opinion, I look for a guy who is funny, has similar interests as me, is kind, is not judgmental of other people, can treat children and animals with respect, treats me with respect. Um, just someone I can have a good conversation with. It's just like things like that. But I will say I'm not getting that in my current relationship because this guy likes wrestlers who have bad work rate.
That's fair.
Solid. Do you think again? There's a lot of people that say like people have certain standards of high thoughts on the modern man and the modern women, or just thoughts on men in general, and women in general. If you can give us this perspective on that.
Thoughts on men in general and women in general.
Yeah. Well, in this current age.
That's a
Uh,
very broad. That's a
that's
extremely
so fucking funny.
extremely broad question.
That's so funny.
I'm not
If
go
could you
ahead.
maybe like provide some examples of what you'd
So
like me
do
to?
you think so first when in terms of like, do you think there's an issue with men nowadays and there's an issue with women nowadays, and I was gonna also ask, like, do you think either one or the other or even both have high standards for no reason or whatever?
Okay. Well, like I said, it's a very broad question because there's about 4 billion men and 4 billion women
Hmm.
in the
Exactly.
world, so it seems like you may be talking about a specific type of person that
What
maybe
do you
you've
think of
seen.
the modern man?
So you wanted to know about people's standards being too high?
Do you think that's a thing? Do you think either gender has high standards? Like, do you think women have higher standards than before? Do you think men have higher standards than before as well? And do you just in general?
I don't think that women have higher standards than before because you have to understand years ago the man was expected to support the entire family on his one income. The man was expected to, work work his ass off to support his whole family. And now like that responsibility has kind of been cut in half where people have two income households now. Which it does suck that you can't support a family on one income anymore, but there is less pressure on the man to 100% provide because in a lot of relationships now the woman is the breadwinner because women are more likely to be in education, and that's where a lot of the higher paying jobs are at, is through a college education. So I don't think that the standards have gotten higher in that aspect. But if what else do you think, in your opinion, like maybe standards? What in your opinion, what do you think? What about women or men's standards is too high?
So I do think, from my perspective, in terms of women's standards being high, that I think that the whole idea that men need to make a certain amount despite even like making enough to survive, let's say an apartment for both of them, they think that they're owed that they need to be making so much money. And not just that, again, also the whole idea of why am I hearing my back? I'm hearing background. Hello, hello. Oh, okay, I think that's over. Um, the idea that women think that they rather like basically excusing they'll say that again, like the whole, oh, men, like, basically how you said that, Carl, men just need to be nice and good, whatever. But they'll claim they want that, but they'll shame like the men who are like short. They want to like, they'll like, fuck that, I want a tall dude. Basically they'll,
Yeah,
the whole
he
idea of
wants a
like,
tall guy in finance, 6'5", blue eyes. That's
yeah,
his thing.
basic and having unrealistic, like, again, like the whole the man finance trend. You know about that
Yeah,
trend,
the
right?
man in finance trend.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that like those things about you had to make a specific income or you have to be a specific height are representative of what people want in real life. I think you're getting a lot of that from seeing those like street interviews. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like they'll interview like some girls
Yep.
at a club in Miami at like 12 in the morning and they'll be like, "So like how much does a man have to make, you know, for you to be interested?" They're like, "Oh, it has to be, at least, 500K or something like that." Like a
Uh-huh.
lot of that a lot of what men think women want, I think has been skewed from by that where they see these like street interviews and these videos on social media, these podcast clips where they see like a woman who's like some kind of club thought from Miami, you know, talking about what she wants in a guy. They think it's representative of like what the average woman believes, and that's just not true.
I think the reason why like people think that though is because, again, the women are drunk, and when you're drunk, you're more likely to tell the truth.
Yeah, but it's a very specific type of woman that I feel like they always catch in these street interviews that go viral.
Absolutely.
Also, so you're saying that it's the wrong, that basically men, they're chasing the wrong girl.
Well, if you're okay, I'll give you an example. If you're a guy who, let's just say you don't have women that are your age, that are in your circle in any way, you just don't interact with them a lot.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of what you're getting about relationships and about dating and about women is coming from what you see on social media. And that happens a lot now where like these younger boys are just like scrolling through Instagram reels all day. So they're seeing these like viral street interviews of these girls that are like just like these girls that are going to like some kind of club in Miami and don't care about anything aside from money and getting drunk and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They see that and they're like, okay, well that's what women want. So they're all just like materialistic.
Do you think most women are materialistic nowadays, or just a very few?
I don't think that most women are. I do think that, like I said, I think that it is overblown because of these. There are a lot
Mhm.
of like these podcasts, and I'm not blaming it all on them, but there's a lot of these podcasts, these influencers who are trying to create a certain narrative and selling it to younger people.
Absolutely. And it's also just such a fucking silly thing to say. Most
Okay.
people think this way. Like, how the fuck do you know that? Like, most people nowadays are really materialistic. It's like you can say that and you can kind of see some of that, but like to take, I don't know. It's just such a, I don't know.
And also another thing is if you look at like the statistics of marriage, people tend to still marry and date within their like economic class, where people who are college educated end up together. People who are not college educated tend to be married to each other. So there is like not a whole lot of intermingling where like this like minimum wage worker from Wendy's is like able to socialize with like these top like Fortune 500 CEO type of guys. Like it's just not a thing that's representative of real life.
Right.
Like most of the time, like a woman who's a
I
low
do
wage
I
worker
do think
statistically is gonna marry a guy who's also a low wage worker. Like it's just kind of how the cookie crumbles, you know. In terms of even like you could
I
see this
think that
in statistics as well, where they talk about like who marries who, and you know.
I think again that with that type of relationship that happens when again those people they end up getting to know each other easily through college and high school, so that makes it easier. But not everyone, I would say, has that luxury, right? Because again, not everyone is able to meet people to the whole modern world in terms of approaching someone in college or high school, unless you're in classes. I think that's just from what I know from my perspective. Just me though. Um, I don't know if you have any retort of that.
I mean, I do think that you know if you don't meet anybody in in those situations, I think you are less likely to maybe find someone who's in the same kind of cl- um, sphere as you. But by and large, like that's just what it ends up being, where people who are not, you know, people who are around the same income or educational level just end up together.
And they end up at the same events and they end up in the same social circles. I mean, it makes sense.
It definitely does. We're like,
Yeah.
because like
So
we just aren't touching like the top 1% of people. We're just not around them, and we
Yeah,
probably
we're
never
that.
will be.
Yeah, we didn't get invited to the crypto ball. You know,
Exactly,
we're
or
not jumping
the
nobody in the
pedophile ball
crypto
or whatever
ball.
else, the eating babies ball.
Fuck. Yeah, Snoop
ugh.
Dogg was at the crypto ball and he took a picture with Ted Cruz. I thought that was very interesting.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, like Ted Cruz and his daughter. That was kind of cool.
It was very odd to me. It
What the
was Snoop
hell?
Dogg. Yeah,
What the
right
hell is
after
the
Snoop
crypto
Dogg
bomb?
just released his new album Missionary, which has a picture of a condom on the front. I wonder if Ted Cruz is aware of that.
I think he's a
What the
fan.
hell is the? Sorry, what is the crypto ball? Is that actually a thing?
Yeah,
I
it was
was
a party they threw.
like an event in Washington D.C. like around the time of the inauguration.
Wait,
Mm.
wait a minute. Okay, I know this whole. I don't give a fuck, and I just think this whole crypto shit is retarded. This whole Bitcoin crap. I'm not gonna act like I know it, and fuck it. It just I just think like, how does that work? Is fucking unbelievable, and it's like, why are we really heading to that type of world where that's gonna take over and like take over money? Like what?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. I'm not going to pretend that I do.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on this at all. I know that some of it's a scheme, some of it's not. I don't know. I'm too stupid. I know that if I were to get into it, I would buy one that was fake, and I'm just dumb. So
That's the thing. If I
whatever.
did invest in crypto, I got a feeling I would probably just lose everything because
Right.
I would probably do something wrong, even if I thought it. You know, as much as I tried to educate myself, I would probably do something wrong
Right.
and end up losing out. So I'll stick to my dollar bills. Okay.
Yeah, I think like if yeah, I love my dollar bills. Okay. I was gonna say yeah. Again, okay. So we kind of could agree the whole certain people have certain high standards, like both men and women. I would say. Um, Thoughts on the whole idea? Like, do you care about height, Trap Queen, and thoughts on the whole idea of like what people, it does height really matter in dating?
I mean, I do think that probably most women would prefer a guy that is taller than them, but there's
Mm-hmm.
women who are not unwilling to date a man who's shorter. I don't care. I don't have a specific height requirement. I am pretty short, so if the guy is shorter, I don't really like just, I don't know what's considered short for a man, but like If the guy
Mhm.
is what would be considered on the shorter end, I just don't care. Like,
The average male height is 5'9".
okay, so yeah, that's fine. 5'7" is fine. I'm short, so like, to me, it doesn't really
Mhm.
matter.
What is your
Do you?
height
But
square? What? How tall are you?
I am 5'3".
What
I'll
the?
explain it. No, I'll
You'll
say. But like, what's
explain
your?
later.
I'll say it, but I just want to get the question out. But thoughts on like the women that thinks like like that's still short, even though that's like they're taller than the women and they want a 6 feet guy or whatever. What's your retort of that?
I mean, I'm sure that those women exist, but
But
like
like, who
And
cares?
they're
Why do you want to
probably
be with those women?
they're probably fucking awful in
Yeah,
every other aspect. So
exactly.
it shouldn't matter to
again,
you.
this is why we gotta get it out there, though, Emery. So that's why I'm asking these questions.
But
Okay,
how
you gotta
how
think the right.
tall are you? Don't dodge that question.
No, I'm not gonna dodge it. I am 5'8". I
5'8".
think.
You're fine. What the fuck?
But again, I happen. Okay, I didn't I tell you that a chick that I
Yes, a
actually
fucking dumb fucking bimbo that you met told you that you were short, and she was a fucking liar.
Could I
You're a
get some
fucking average
context?
height person.
Could I get some
some girl.
context on this?
Did you not? It was. I think we mentioned it on an episode trap. So you should have done your modern
She
romance
doesn't
homework.
watch this
Uh,
religiously. You can just explain.
anyway, so there was like this girl that I'm not that I was friends with. She was like a gym friend. Um, when I mentioned my height, she said that's short when she's like 5'2".
Okay,
So
but she didn't say she wouldn't date you because of your height.
no, first of all, I was not even interested in her like that. We were not talking about dating, like, but we were talking about just height in general. You know what I mean? But like that's like, but like if a
You should
woman,
not let the fucking opinion of one person on your height affect any fucking way that you feel about any fucking thing ever. That doesn't matter. I also all the way even like listening to you retell the story, her going, "That's short." Doesn't even sound like she was even meaning to be mean. And if she was, it was probably just like a light jab. Especially if she was saying it with that same inflection that you just hit me with. It would sound like she might have been fucking flirting with you and it just went over your head.
she was not flirting with me.
Can you imagine if Zubair missed his window that badly
Like
because he just didn't understand?
She was not because she did talk about how like her type was like 6 feet guys. So
well, you need to show her that her type is actually 5'8" brown boys.
nah. I saw her. I remember her boyfriends. I don't know. I don't know if
Saw
they're
her
still.
boyfriend. Is he scary? Is he
No,
scary?
just so fucking. I don't know if it's her act. Like it's like some fucking tall white guy. I don't know. And she's
Damn.
brown. So
Damn.
anyway,
You
I don't
guys,
know.
well, ask your dad if he can set up an arranged marriage between you guys.
I don't want to do that though. Anyways. Oh yeah. So Trap Queen, what's your thoughts on the whole like? Do you still believe in when you were talking about the whole tradition of ideal relationships? Do you believe in again in a traditional stereotype relationship, or are you more accepting the whole progressive ideal relationships? Where do you think that women should not be like the caretakers or taking care of the kids and cooking and all that kind of stuff? What's your thoughts on all that kind of stuff?
Okay, so you're asking, do I prefer a traditional relationship where like the man works and the woman stays at home, or a relationship where they both work?
Yeah, you can do that, or you
He's
can
say, I think he's saying, do you prefer the classic
yeah.
relationship of like one man, one woman, they get together and they like, they get in a relationship, or do you think that it's okay for people to have like 5 boyfriends and be in like a
Oh,
No,
harem of a
no, that's
relationship?
next week. No, that's next week. That's next week. No, that's the relationship. So I'm talking about in terms of the
Okay.
whole tradition. This is like, let's say, a little brief for next week. Do you believe in the whole? No, Trapping was on the ball. Well, she was like, well, I was asking, like, do you believe, or what would you like in your perspective care for, the traditional relationship or the whole progressive relationship in terms of working and everyone takes in the role?
Okay, well, first of all, the ideal relationship is where both people believe in putting over the young talent over Mr. No Work Rate John Cena. But
Right.
secondly, in my opinion, I do think that it's very sad that nowadays it's basically impossible to support a family just on one income. That was something that was possible 50, 60 years ago, and it's
Mhm.
just not feasible now. Unless you're a guy who's making a very high amount of money, it's just not feasible anymore. So, I
Mhm.
mean, for me personally, let's just say that it was. In my opinion, I would still like to work. I don't want to be viewed as like a girl boss, girl power, corporate, whatever, but I would want to work just for myself because I
Well,
wouldn't
yeah. I
want to
mean,
be
there's a
home all
certain
day.
independence that comes with it. I totally get that.
I just wouldn't want to
Mhm.
be home all day. Like, I would be bored.
Yeah.
Do you
Especially,
but do you see?
especially in the situation you're in now, where it's like you don't have kids or anything. Like, why
Like, I've
wouldn't
got
you want
nothing
to
to
work?
do. Like, what I can't.
Yeah.
There's only so many towels I can fold, and.
What's your ideas in the future though? Like, what would you want to do in the future as a woman
Like, career
when you have a
wise.
family? Yeah, career wise and also family wise. Like, what would you like? Would you like to still serve as a traditional or a little mix of both? Like,
Would you
I
like
mean,
to adopt an African child?
so you're asking like career wise and also what I would want to do like when it comes to having kids.
yeah, or like that whole family life.
Okay, well, like I said, I still would want to work. I'm probably going to go towards a career just working with
Okay,
younger kids because it's kind of just what I've been doing for the past
wonderful.
like since I started working, I've been doing that. So probably a career like that, I would still want to
Okay,
have children of my own, probably around 3 or 4 kids. Maybe a career that isn't so demanding of me, where I can definitely make time, where I just have set hours and I'm able to see my kids when they get home from school. I'm able to cook dinner. I'm able to spend time with them on the weekends. I wouldn't want a job that takes the life out of me. So I would still want to work because, like, just for myself and just so I'm not home all day long, especially when my kids go to school. Like, what am I supposed to do all day? But I would, want a job that doesn't suck the life out of me, too.
that's awesome. Honestly, I respect that. Really respect that a lot.
I'm glad I
Um,
have your respect.
Thank you. Um, okay, so we talked about these five things in our previous episode, and I'm gonna ask for your
Oh my
perspective as a
God.
woman.
He's gonna go over the list. I wanted on the record that Trap Queen's boyfriend has told me that he might want to come on here at some point just to talk to Zubair about this list because of how god awful it was. Now I want Zubair to realize that
Well, you know
before
what?
he
He's
delete it.
banned.
He's not banned.
Yes, he
Never.
is. He's
Never.
fucking banned. I'm putting him banned.
Well, that band
No.
isn't real.
That's not a
Sorry.
real thing.
No,
That ain't happening.
I'm not. I don't want to
That
talk
ain't
to him.
happening. All you ever talk about on here is like, how are we gonna get people to watch? And you fucking, that's not happening.
Well,
There's
first
no
of all, I'm
ban.
pretty sure that guy does not want anyone to know he's still alive. So,
Well,
ha!
no, I mean, he's the one that messaged me about it. So why don't you shut the fuck up?
No, fuck you, you fucking bitch. Go come on him if you still love him so much.
Don't try to be me. Now, what were you saying?
Anyways, okay, so Trap Queen, thoughts on the whole idea of hypergamy as a woman?
Hypergamy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell him about
hypergamy.
hypergamy.
Do you mean hypergamy?
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people say hypergamy. Some people say hypergamy. It's
No,
just like some people say
one
hazel.
one Zubair says hypergamy, and everybody else says hypergamy.
The hyperfunk zone.
What is the
Anyway,
hyper zone? What is that?
The fucking awesomest place you could be. Duh.
okay,
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I've heard this word thrown around a lot. I'm not entirely sure what it means. So could you maybe give me some context?
So hypergamy or hypergamy is basically again dating up or just like it's status related.
Okay, so women want to date up is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that that's what women care about?
I
You
mean,
already asked this question.
okay, so
I'm trying to. Mhm.
I mean some women, yes, some women prefer an equal partnership, some women are the breadwinner. You can't paint the fence with such broad strokes. It's very different depending on the person. I do think that maybe being a higher status guy, I guess, is an attractive trait for some women. Some women do care about that a lot. They do want to get somewhere. And a lot of these marriages too are because women want to get in a specific space where they may not have access to it had they not married that person or had they not connected with them. So I do understand it from that kind of perspective, but it's another thing where I kind of feel like it's another thing where people are viewing relationships as just a transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wonderful. Thoughts on promiscuity? The idea of promiscuity.
Promiscuity,
Yes.
No, promiscuity.
like
Promiscuity, whatever it's called. God.
like sleeping around.
Yeah, basically the whole, basically the. Also, as a woman, okay. Before we get to that, can you talk about hookah culture? Your thoughts on that, and just if you think society's too sexually obsessed.
Okay, so hookup culture is bad. I think promiscuity is also bad. I think that it's probably not good for you spiritually or mentally to just kind of be giving, because I do giving like such a sacred part of yourself away just to anybody. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Giving up your body in that way. Um, Hookup culture is also bad. I think that people, if they want to be with each other, they should just have a regular relationship. If you want sex, just sex, then you're in it for the wrong reasons, and you're gonna hurt a lot of people.
And can you talk about the whole porn addiction in the world?
The whole porn addiction of the
The whole
world.
porn addiction of the world.
Whatever. What's the thoughts on porn addiction? Tell that people, trap queen. You ever had any
Do you think porn
watch?
addiction's good?
Ugh.
Oh, porn addiction is great.
No.
I love it.
Me too.
In my opinion, I think that it's definitely, I don't think that porn in and of itself is 100% a bad thing. I don't think that nudity and Playboy and like magazines is the same thing as like being able to access hardcore porn just on your phone. Like they've done studies on this, and like the average age that a person gets exposed to pornography is like lowering and lowering every year because it's just something that kids are. It's so easy to access for children now.
Yeah, that actually is scary. Like I'm not.
And there's the things that you can, the types of things that you can access, and the types of things that are kind of mainstream in porn are definitely pushing some harmful ideas. Like there's a whole thing of like where the girls and men too, but like they try to make the girls look as young as they possibly can without it being CP.
Lolicon shit
There's
up.
a lot of like promotion of like incest and brutalization and abuse, and it's just not okay for younger kids to be looking at
And they
that.
actively try to push that shit
Oh,
too.
they
That's the fucked
100%
up
do.
thing about it.
I kind of
They
like blame.
100% do.
I blame anime. I blame anime with that shit. Okay, I blame it. I blame people who fucking like anime. I blame all that fucking shit. I blame fucking the weird YouTuber that you guys were associated with, not associated with, but you guys had a problem with, like guys like him. Um, Whatever. Anyways, like I need to ask how lower is it getting if you know of the age.
I can look it up, but it definitely it's gotten a lot younger because
I really hope it's not like to like preschool even or elementary. Please hope not, please.
I mean, I don't think that that's happening on a large scale, but there are a lot of people, you can see it out in public now. People just give their kids a tablet and don't even think twice about it. So it is possible for them to access things like that without having meant to, without specifically looking for it. But I will look that up just right now, just so I could see. But I mean, it's like logically going to go up or going to go down because, you know, let's just say 20, 30 years ago, it was so much harder to find anything like that. You would have to like if you were a 12-year-old kid, something like that would be very hard for you to access compared to now.
Do you think porn should be banned?
Um, Not all of it. I think that, like I said, I don't it would depend on what constitutes as pornography because just posing like naked or, naked pictures or naked videos, I don't think is entirely wrong. But there is a lot of stuff that I think should definitely go away, which is like the kind of the categories that I mentioned before.
There's just so
Um,
much of it. Like, how are you gonna ban it? Like, it just
Yeah, it would be impossible to ban.
I mean, the same could be said about mass deportation, right? How you could deport millions of immigrants, right, who are undocumented, but at
But
least like
there's
deporting them
just
would be a start.
no. It's
Okay,
a.
they said
I don't
eight
know.
8 to 11 years old.
Oh no!
I'm not
Oh,
surprised by that at all.
oh God! Like that's bad. That's bad. God, like that's disgusting. And like I'm fear for the future. I gotta really like make sure like oh God, that sucks. I don't know.
And it says
Okay.
that 84% of what children that age have seen involves violence, rape, and choking
Whoa.
somebody. So I mean, it's definitely gotten a lot worse.
Like I remember it at least would be like like right before high school age, right? But now it's like worse. Oh
I
man.
mean, I think like I said, logically, it's gonna get worse if it's easier to access
Yeah,
at a younger age.
absolutely.
Because like oh God.
Like back in the like let's just
Uh,
say 1999, for example. Let's just like, use an example year. You know, you're a younger kid. Let's say you're 13, 14. You are getting interested in women and sex and all that. You're looking at like the lingerie section of like the Macy's catalog. You're not looking up hardcore, stuff on Pornhub. Like it's two different things that you're getting exposed to as well.
mm. I do think, in my opinion, I think one of the problems also is when we're talking about sex. I think the whole presence of sex scenes, I would say, in movies and TV shows are even like, for example, like they're doing these superhero shows like was it Arrow? You know that stupid show Arrow with Stephen Amell and all these CW type of stupid shows. They always do like a weird like sex scene, and these are like shows that kids are watching. So I think that doesn't help. Like it's endorsing it too much. It just like so much of it.
I mean, like sex things have kind of always been a thing in movies and TV. I don't think they're going to go away anytime soon. I don't think they're necessary in
It's
my
super
opinion.
dominant. That's what my thing.
I just
That's
skip
like
I just tend to skip through them.
mm,
I don't think
Yeah,
that
and a lot of time it goes on too long, and it gets to the point where it's like, what's the point?
yeah,
exactly. So, I just tend to skip through them.
yeah. Do you think? Oh, what's your thoughts on OnlyFans? I mean, it kind of similar to like, do you think it should be banned at least and all that kind of stuff?
It would be a very difficult thing to ban because if you ban OnlyFans, because the big thing before OnlyFans was the private Snapchats. That was
Mm,
like the thing before OnlyFans where you'd pay to access a girl's like private Snapchat and they would post things on their story or like send you custom videos and stuff like that. So it would be very hard, I think, even if you did ban OnlyFans or you ban explicit content from OnlyFans, people would just find another way to do it. I personally think it's bad. I think that you shouldn't sell your body like it's a commodity for and like even the amount of money it's bad regardless, but like the amount of money that these women are selling themselves for is like insanely low. Like you valued your body at $5 a month for people just to
Right,
look at, and like they aren't thinking about the longer term effects of it. Like they're gonna have children someday, and their children are gonna be able to see maybe what it's not something that can really go away. Even if
yeah,
you deleted your profile, those are still pictures and images. People still have them on their computers. Like, and your children are gonna see that one day. That could, if you want to get a job, that could bite you in the ass.
same thing with again, what's her name? Kim Kardashian sex tape shit that's affecting her kids now. Same thing with the I think the porn star Lana Rose. Like the child got made fun of before getting born. Like I feel so bad for that child.
you ever
Eh,
see that movie Boogie Nights?
Explain this to people. Please explain
It's
this
a
to
movie about how porn's fucked up, and
people.
the end of the movie, there's a scene where this guy and his wife who used to be porn stars have quit being porn stars, and they're trying to get a loan from the bank so they can open up a stereo store, and they won't give it to him, and he asks him why, and the guy who runs the bank says, we do not give money to pornographers, and he's like, pornographer, I just want to open up a stereo store.
But that's gonna be these people's reality, though. They're doing this in the short term, and then in a couple of years, like, it's gonna bite. Like, they want to stop doing it. You're not really able to stop.
Yeah.
Right.
Um, as a woman, we there's always been a power, like the whole idea of women's empowerment has been predominant in for quite some time now. What's your thoughts on the whole? What's your thoughts on feminism? Right? Do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing, and do you think there's an issue in sometimes of that how that contributes with dating?
Okay, so you want my opinion on feminism?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, I think
And how
that
it affects in dating for you, or does it, and how you like your stance on as a woman and modern dating related stuff. Yeah.
okay. So I would say the majority of women who do identify as being a feminist aren't what you're thinking of. I think they're just women who kind of believe in like vague ideas about female empowerment and women and men being equal to each other. They aren't like these. I don't think that they're the type of women that you're necessarily think like the image that you're conjuring up in your head of what your typical feminist is. I personally don't view myself as being one because I think that they've done a lot more harm than good in certain aspects of the like. I'm not a fan of abortion. I've made that known. I'm not a fan of a lot of things that the feminists and also like the feminist movement has pushed. But I'm sorry. There's a lot of bad things in my opinion that have been the result of especially second and third wave feminism. I guess what we're in the fourth wave now. I have no idea. They made it very much impossible for. I talked about this earlier, but like it's now very much impossible for a person or man to support a family on just his income alone because it's just expected that the woman is gonna also make a lot of money. So I think that it's done a lot more harm than good. I think that women should be able to work because there's a lot of issues with like financial abuse and not being independent on your own. But like they kind of made it impossible to where if you want to live a specific way, it's a lot harder.
Hmm. Is that all you want to say?
I mean, I went off for like 5 minutes,
No, you're
apparently.
good. His
No, no,
question, I
just
think,
making sure.
about feminism is that is it did feminists destroy gender roles and has that made dating worse?
Okay, so I think that gender roles are a lot less specifically defined than they used to be. I think that there is still some expectations, especially with dating. Like the man is still expected to ask out the woman.
Right.
Like that's still, the man is expected to pay on the first date at least.
Yep.
So there's
Hmm.
there's still there's still gender roles that are instilled. I just don't think that they're as strict as they used to be, but they're still
Hmm.
there.
Okay. Um. Well, I was gonna ask in terms of feminism. Actually, no, it's not that. The whole. It seems like because of feminism, there's been a war in genders, right? A gender war. Personally, we talked about it before in our personal life, and you have expressed the idea of that too. What's your whole idea and it presented for the people? Your idea of this whole gender war that has kind of been going on for a while now because of the rise of feminism and just in general, like what's your thoughts of it and how we can have a solution for that and to stop it?
I'm very much sick of the gender war content and like the guys that I mentioned like way earlier in this stream. I'm kind of tired of that just genre of content and that way of thinking. I think that a lot of that arose like the Manosphere content arose as a response to third wave feminism kind of being so prominent in the 2010s. I think there was just like a pendulum shift that was kind of natural that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm just sick of it, honestly. I've talked about this before. Like, I feel like I could be entirely wrong. I'm very young, so could be entirely wrong. My perspective could be very limited. But I feel like around the mid 2010s or so, things started to shift where people used to just be like normal and not really care about like political causes as much to where like everybody has to have a strong opinion on everything. Do you guys get what I'm saying? That like everyone is so
Yeah.
heavily heavily involved and they used to not be. Like, I mean, people cared, of course, but like people weren't like defining themselves by what they specifically believed in. People were just kind of allowed to be normal.
Yeah, you didn't have to be in a fucking movement. You could just be a person.
And I feel like that definitely started to shift around the 2010s. I mean, it was always kind of a thing, but like
I think it was fucking. I think it was like that 2016 election, man. I think it changed everything.
it definitely did. I think the moment Trump went down the escalator, everything changed.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
it really did seem like it was something that happened like overnight. Because I was, obviously I was younger, but like, you know, I don't know, like it just seemed like there was a
That's what
huge
got me into it.
shift.
That's when I was like a fucking like really hard lefty Bernie bro back then. Like I was super into that shit because Donald Trump fucking I don't know, he came in and just changed the fucking political landscape forever there.
Like there was definitely like a seismic shift
Yeah.
because the world was not like this.
No, it
The
was
world
not.
was not like this even in 2014, 2013. The world was not like
I
this.
remember that just because like it was infecting everything, like every single thing. Like at that time in my life, I was a fucking dumb little kid that was really into shitty YouTube videos about atheism, and all the atheists started making political content. Like they just started doing like all these political
Exactly.
videos, and I fucking that's when I fell off from that. Actually, was because I just got sick of that, and then I don't know, like I got really into the whole political thing for a while, and then I still like am interested in it, and I think it's a lot of fun. But like, I don't care enough to like not like somebody because of their political views. It's just fucking stupid. I'm not tribal in that way, I guess.
And that used to be like the normal belief 10 years ago. And
Right,
now it's just not. Like that used to be a normal, like 100% a normal thought. And now it just isn't.
right. So, are you done with your
So
list
what do
yet?
you
How many
think
more
with
do we
this whole
got?
gender war thing? Like what man? Oh no, just almost like because we're almost kind of done with the show. What do you think men and women can do better in as a society, and especially to make dating better?
Okay. Once again, they're kind of a hard question to really pinpoint and give a
What can we
definitive.
do as a society?
Because I'm really not the person like that you know, I'm really not a person who can really give you an educated opinion on that. I'm just a normal person. What I think could be better, I think that you talked about how hookup culture is a problem. I think that that needs to end. I think people need to. I think people just need to be straight up with each other, not be as afraid as they currently are with falling into relationships. I think people need to be more open minded. Maybe. I guess I don't know. Like
Fucking, I think
Okay,
that
again,
in
you're
order to
answering the
fix
best.
modern
Yeah.
dating, that more pretty girls need to be attracted to me, need to be attracted to Zubair, and I think that Trap Queen's shitty boyfriend needs to learn that fucking John Cena is the best or the worst, and they need to let the little kids be the wrestlers now.
listen, this is just a message to you if you're watching.
Uh huh.
John Cena has 5 moves, okay? The 5 moves of doom, all right? And you want to say that he's the greatest wrestler of all time? I disagree. He's not even in my top 30, okay? That's the message for a certain person who might be watching right now. John Cena has done nothing but bury people. He has no work rate, and that's that.
He played Peacemaker in the television series and in the
Um.
Suicide Squad
He
movie. I
also
liked
played
him in
Fred's
that.
dad in the Fred movie.
Yeah, that was a classic film. He was also in Fred 2, Night of the Living Fred. Was he? I forget. Was he only in
He was in Fred 3 Camp Fred as well.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
The Fred trilogy.
The FCU,
That
the Fred
Fred
Cinematic
Fred is
Universe.
like the worst. Fred is like
Are you
the
really about to
Fred
shit on
TV
Fred?
show is single-handedly one of the worst Nickelodeon shows in history, outside from Fanboy Chum, along and Marvin Marvin.
I mean that show also had Fred in it though.
Hello.
That show also had Fred in it.
Yeah, Marvin Marvin. Yeah,
I mean, I think that they
yeah.
were just trying to capitalize
Mm-hmm.
off. I think they viewed
Um,
internet content as the future, so they were trying to
before
capitalize off of
the
it.
He was the most subscribed
Um,
YouTube channel at the time. It was weird.
It's
yeah,
also
he
weird because
was.
like that kind of content would have no chance of going viral
Oh,
nowadays.
yeah, no, that was a very specific time.
Landscape has completely changed. Now you
Oh
gotta be a
yeah.
video essayist to get views.
uh,
To finish my stupid list, what's your? We're just gonna you're gonna just gonna mention this too, and then we're gonna mention my last point of the end this beautiful video, which by the way has been very fun. What's your thoughts on social? I should have asked this earlier, but I just think it's just so great to just ask other questions better. What's your thoughts on just social media? Even though we kind of already talked about it, what's your thoughts on social media and social engineering in general with dating?
Just
Even though we
all of
kind of
social
already talked
media?
about it from your perspective. Yeah, like
Okay.
what's your thoughts on how it affected dating and social engineering also?
what is social engineering to you? What does that mean to you?
How we interact as humans.
I mean, I think social media has definitely changed how we interact. I mean, it can be a good thing where you connect with people who you wouldn't have otherwise met. Like I probably would not have met either of you had it not been
Right.
for us being on social media at the same time. But
Hmm.
I do think that like one reason why I think it's negatively affected real life friendships is that now people like will get offended if you don't reply to their text within 10 to 15 minutes. Like it was normal years ago for like them not to hear from you for a bit and not just assume that you were like mad at them. And
Right.
now it's like it's created like kind of an animosity. People are like, what, you got a problem with me? Like you didn't respond to my text. Or like knowing where someone is 24/7, like having each other's locations. Like I feel like that's just like in my opinion, it's too much. Like it would violate a boundary for me. Well, at least when it comes to my friends. Like my friends don't need to know where I am every waking moment of the day.
No. Yeah.
And
Fuck
like
that.
now that's a thing where like people you share your location with people and you post a story where you say exactly where you are and like that shouldn't be treated as being normal. I think that we should be able to have some a little bit more autonomy than that where we respect our privacy. Respect each other's privacy and need to have space.
Hmm. All right. Yeah, that's really it. Like you already talked about social engineering, and you already talked about social media. You already kind of mentioned it because that's how we met. And again, you had a crazy upcoming of your basically your YouTube career, and just in general with the YWC. Just with the, that's that your exposure to social media it was felt, and sorry you had to go through certain things,
Thank
but
you.
hey, your sacrifice was hopefully will not go by in vain. It was a great sacrifice. Anyways, since Emery wants to so really so much to talk about me or whatever, what is your ideal solution, or what can we do, or what is it your little criticism that you can say for in terms of me and Emery that you want to freaking say
You
in
and Emery.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of dating.
Definitely fix me first. I want to know.
Yeah, because again, Remy wants to get the pretty girls. Like, let's help him out. I want to help the guy.
I mean, like Emery though, like he's managed to get dates and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So I wouldn't say it's anything that he's doing wrong. I think maybe if he's I don't know how much he wants to talk about it, but like if he's had trouble, maybe it's not 100% on his end.
Yeah, they call me the bad luck boy. But fucking but what can Zubair do to improve himself so he can at least get on dates?
Well, I'm not the bad luck boy. Because again,
You have
okay,
had some
no,
bad
no,
luck. You've had
yeah,
some bad luck.
yeah, but like, okay, but oh yeah, Trap Queen. I do want to ask this. Okay, and this will help me, right? This is all about what's your thoughts on, like, again, the girls who are like the nice girls I've met, right? They say I'm a nice guy, but I'm not ready for a relationship. Like, they say I'm a nice guy. I understand that's just being nice, but like, want a girl want a nice guy?
Okay, so Zubair, I might be a little bit
Okay, not
judgmental of you.
before you talk about me. What's your thoughts on like the whole idea? Like, wouldn't girls want a good guy? That's what they want. They want a good guy, right? but yet like you see them. Oh, I'm not ready for a relationship, but yet they go out with these fucking, again, clearly
Zubair, that when they say that to you, when they say I want a nice guy, or when they say to you, you're a nice guy, but I'm not looking for a relationship right now, that is them going out of their way to say, hey, I don't want to date you, but I also don't want to offend you because you're not a bad person and I don't have anything against you. That's what they're saying. They're not, you know what
I
I
know,
mean?
I
It's
know,
politeness.
I
Yeah,
know,
it's a formalities, Bear.
I know. Just I'm fucking ugly as shit. It's okay.
Okay, but do you want my honest opinion?
Sure, Chaplin, you're my bestie.
Am I allowed
Go
to
on.
just say whatever I want on this
Absolutely.
show? It's a
Yeah.
free speech show.
We're at the end.
Sure. Just I don't know. Maybe don't get too personal. Maybe because again, it is a
Well,
public
I'm just
setting.
gonna talk
Yeah,
about things that
the rule I would say is like don't name drop anybody from like his past. That would be
I'm
the rule.
Alright.
I'm just more so gonna point out things that I think are observable, even if people just watch his videos.
Yes.
I think that Zubair, you do come off as being like very immature for your age. You come off as very childish. You have a lot of childish interests like wrestling and Power Rangers and Nickelodeon shows, which I mean, if you want to like those things, it's fine, but like it's not the most attractive traits to the majority of women to
Can
have
I
like a
retort?
yes.
But I don't tell girls that. I don't
Yeah,
showcase
but
that.
too bad you have a video on your Instagram that women follow you on where you're reenacting a scene from Power Rangers.
When was that?
Do you know what I'm talking? Like the video, like where he does like the kick.
Okay, that's just one, but that's
Yeah.
oh, that's one. But that's like again, I think that's kind of like again because it was honoring Jason David Frank. Rest in peace.
Well, still, like you got a video of yourself kicking in the wrong direction, trying to
Okay,
act out a guy
but
from
like,
Power Rangers.
here's the thing. I don't. You're like okay, but I'm trying to also say like I don't even give these girls my Instagrams, right? Or I want to give them my Instagrams.
But Zubair, you said you follow them on Instagram though.
Well, oh no, but those are the girls I end up getting their Instagrams, right? It's not they don't get to know about the childish love stuff with me. So what
I
do I
mean,
do?
I don't know how you're presenting yourself like in
Yeah,
day to
that's the
day
thing. It's
life when
hard.
talking to girls, but
Yeah.
I'm saying from what I've seen, like what's observable to me is that you come off like very childish and very like kind of like okay, can I give you an example?
Sure. Go
You
on.
kind of come off like a cartoon character. Like you post those pictures of yourself on 4th of July with like the American flag pants with the American flag shirt, just like standing there.
Hmm.
Like it comes off as very like cartoon charactery
Okay.
and not necessarily like the most attractive traits. If
Kind
you
of the
want,
way you talk too, man. I'm gonna be real with you. Like this whole conversation we've had tonight, you've mispronounced fucking at least one word per sentence every fucking thing you said, man. Like fucking, you got to work on fucking the presentation. It's about like coming off like a normal
like
guy.
well
I
adjusted
feel like
man.
I feel like you have some. I feel like sometimes you get like a brain cloud. You know what I mean?
And also like when you're if you're messaging a girl, at least when you message us, like you make a lot of mistakes, like you misspell a lot of words. You a lot of things you say don't even really make much sense when you're typing. So like women are like if you're texting a girl, she's gonna see that and be like, this guy's a fucking retard. Like to be
Yeah,
to be
and there
frank with
are
you.
there are tools you can use to help fucking like fix your vocabulary and learn how to spell better, and there are things you can do to help improve that for sure.
Hmm. The thing is, though, like if women really care about intelligence, why are they go again? Why are you going out with certain guys who like again?
I'll bet those guys can all
We know
spell.
person
I'll bet all of them can spell. All of them.
even though if they're retarded,
Even who?
even if they're retarded, like a certain guy who vapes and
Yeah,
makes
I'm pretty sure that he can at least like put together a sentence that makes sense.
Wait, who are you guys talking about?
I think he's talking about me.
Who?
a certain guy.
Who?
He's talking
Certain
about
guy.
me.
He has a certain life that's so vivid, and
I hate you.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, I don't know if he watches the show. If he does, how you doing? Anyway.
Yeah. Hope you ain't dead. Hope you're living your best life, buddy. But yeah, the like I was saying though, I'll bet that when he types that it's not fucking misspelled words every 5 words. I granted I've never texted him ever. I've always me and him have never gotten along really, but he you know, I I'm sure that a Vivid message and a Zubair message are so fucking worlds apart that it's not even funny, man.
So Bear, like you send money to Vince Russo for him to read your messages, and he doesn't even know what you're trying to say most of the time.
What are you talking about? Just because of one occasion, right? Or but again, you have to
Yeah, but
understand.
your professor in college said he couldn't understand what you were trying to say
I don't
when he read
care
your
about
writing.
college. Okay, that's that's college.
Okay, but like, okay, if you
If
can't
these
put that,
learned
but
men don't know what you're trying to say, there's a problem.
and also if you can't put that effort into writing an essay for your college, what effort are you gonna put into just texting some girl?
I think attracting a girl's more important than college, in my honest opinion.
No.
My opinion.
Man, if you paid better attention in college and got a better job and had better social status, who knows?
Well, I got a beautiful job, so I'm cool.
Yeah,
What I'm trying to say.
that's the thing. You don't even have a bad job. You have a good job, so social status isn't your fucking thing.
I don't I don't know, man. I guess just have to be more rich. I don't know. Whatever. Regardless, what I'm trying to say, it's just obviously you don't know how it is or how I type. So I guess you guys are not there to see, right? How I perceive with things. How I
It's
type.
hard for me to believe that all of the sudden that when you start talking to a woman that you just change into this fucking like Chad. That like all of the
That's what I
sudden
find hard to believe too, because like he says like, oh, I don't act like this, in real life, but like how much are you able to like mask?
Again, like what I know is that from my perspective, what happened, right? One, okay, sure, maybe like they just want to waste their time, or whatever. It's just a waste of time, ego boost. They'll just talk to me for a little bit, because I give them that little ego boost, like I approach them. Um, two is they meet somebody else. If I window over, it would, but they sadly like fall for someone else. Like they'll meet later in the day.
Have you won a girl over though?
I mean, I get their Instagram and number, so that should kind of seem like winning
But
them
like
over.
I know, but like some women are gonna do that just because they feel like they don't want to be mean.
Okay, but like they'll like be like, hey, I'm down. Definitely, we should definitely hang out. They'll be like that.
Okay, but do you think maybe they might just be saying that?
Again, like that's the thing. You never know, man. You never know. But like, I try. Okay.
And I've
Um.
said this to you before. Like, if a girl is interested in you and you give them your Instagram, they're gonna see like all that stuff that I was talking about.
yep.
I understand. Like, yeah, the Instagram is an issue. Okay, I get, and I understand. But like, but there's like occasions I have given just only numbers, and I still won't talk. So it's not just the Instagrams. But again, all okay. And the third reason, but I do think this is the problem, and this is why we kind of talked about the whole idea of like the whole social construct, the whole social engineering, or the social media issue. Um, women, I honestly think, and that friends, the girlfriends are the biggest cock blockers, right? Basically, essentially, they'll cock block you from getting that girl because it influence their mind because it's all about association, right? They want to be. It's all about the whole status. Like they don't want when a girl, basically, when their friends basically think a guy's like they'll think like the girl should do better. They'll think they'll do better because they'll think like, oh, look at this, look at my girl bestie, she's gonna think this ugly guy, who I don't think is attractive, even if a girl like probably was at the time thought like, hey, he's kind of cute, but if her friends thinks like that guy's ugly, that's gonna influence her mind to not even go out with them. And and what I think that this is the problem with the whole relationship issue, and this is what we're going to hopefully talk about next week. That women rather share the same guy than date a guy who they either their friends would disapprove. Do you
So
think?
where
Do you,
women are not interested in sharing guys. Are you serious?
Yeah, like what are you
but they
talking
rather share a
about?
boyfriend. They rather share
Girls
this.
are not out here. What girls are out here sharing boyfriends?
This is the second time he's brought this up.
Uh, again, I mean, have you? I know like this whole idea of the social media should not the whole manosphere thing. That's not but that's what I believe and see. Again, and I do have a friend. I think I mentioned him, right? And hey, heck, Emery, if you want, I could get on the show. We can bring in my friend
I'm
who's
so down to have your friend come on here.
the guy who has 4 wives.
Absolutely, yes. We need to get him on here. The man with 4 wives, yes.
Yeah, I'll do that.
As
You know,
soon as you like, literally, like, if you could go to his house right now and just bring him to your house so he can talk to us, like, I would.
I can literally message him right now.
Okay, don't actually because we're 2 hours into this, but fucking, I want to. That is the most
I
enticing
think
thing you
we
have
should have an Emery and Tamed debate. His name is Tamed. I actually
Tamed?
had him on. I actually had him on the. I actually had him on my channel. I don't know if you guys saw that video though.
Probably
What
not.
video was it?
It was a few months ago. Interview with self-made millionaire.
I have to check. Why didn't you promote that? That sounds like it would actually be interesting to see you talk to someone like that. Why didn't you
Why you
promote
guys
that
didn't
to us?
see that? Why you guys didn't watch that? Then it's
Because
on my
you
channel.
upload like 7 videos a day.
No,
Yes, you
whatever.
do.
Whatever. Check that out or send it to you guys. We'll have Tamed on here.
Yeah,
Tamed,
I
who's a
want
self-made
to talk
That
to
sounds
Tamed.
fucking awesome.
That's fucking
self-made
hilarious.
millionaire who has 4 fucking wives. And yeah, he likes me. So, oh, he happens to be a wrestling fan. So, but he has fucking 4 wives.
Why doesn't he like donate one to you?
Uh, he was trying to actually like for my birthday, he was trying to help me get like invite some girls and whatever. But like we kind of came to agreement that's kind of some cuck shit. It's like nah.
That's some cuck shit. So it's like, nah.
I mean, listen, I was at that time like, I'm kind of like, fuck it, I want to fucking get with some. But the thing is, crazy thing is like, apparently some girls that I met, he actually knew and or he had sex with them. Like, what the fuck? Okay, he could be just flexing, but like, apparently, like, but he had proven like one girl that
Is
I
it
thought.
possible that this guy's lying to you?
Yeah, like what? This guy's got the awesomest life, but I really do need to talk to him. We do need.
Oh
to
yeah, we should like you and I think the idea of Emery versus Tamed would be such a great kind of like the whole the
I'm
differences
not
of
even
life
wanting to
and
fight him.
beliefs.
I just want to fucking talk to him
Yeah,
first.
but I need just y'all interest in the values, like how you value as yourselves. Him being this, supposed Muslim, yet he's freaking has 4 wives, and like not like devout to one wife, while you are a devout Christian that only would want to have one wife. Like that's a great dynamic of first show.
That would be fun.
I
That
can't fucking wait for this.
I would actually do that. It's just
would...
we'll talk about something off air though. We'll talk about something off air, but that's why I wouldn't want to do it. But we'll talk about it. If you guys want to do it, we'll do it.
I'm so down.
But anyways, I think we already kind of gone. I don't know. You have anything else to talk about, Trap Queen, or you anything you have to say about me? Supposedly, since apparently this is supposed to improve myself in the end.
I mean,
Even
Zubair,
though,
we've got 2 hours of content. I think that if you want to have me on again, we should save some topics for my
yeah,
next
I mean,
appearance.
yeah, so next week's episode is going to be the Valentine's Day episode. Oh yeah, leave your super chats so that way we can answer them, and that will help the show better, and it will help us a lot. Anyways, next we are going to try to have Trap Me on for some episodes that we want to talk about. I think because again, you like to talk about wrestling, we should definitely do a McMahon episode. We're talking about the whole McMahon relationship issue, his affair, your thoughts on the woman, whatever, and you because you know more about it than Emery. But that'll be, I guess, a future episode. Doesn't need to be right after. But next week will be, I would say, Valentine's Day special. We're gonna talk about couples. We're gonna talk about situationships. We're gonna talk about freaking all these multi-personal relationships. Maybe that can even lead to my buddy Tamed to get on here eventually. So yeah. Anyways, Trap Queen, shout out your channel again. Emery, if you want.
Subscribe to Trappy Talks the Truth, or else I will murder you in your sleep. Just kidding.
Emery, you got anything else to say?
I don't have anything to promote really. I'm I guess I have a project to announce to the world. I am in the early stages of making my first rap album under the name Ill Bill, and it's going to be called Just What the Doctor Ordered. It's going to be a classic rap mixtape. I'm going to be taking beats from hit songs that people already know and then autismifying them. I think it's going to be a good time. So yeah, that's about it.
You guys know the deal. Just yeah, all you guys know the deal. Just subscribe, like, whatever. Um, again, everybody's loved. You are all loved.
You
I
did
love
it. All
everybody
right,
here.
you did it.
Trap,
You stalled until you got your 2 hour mark. I think it's time to end this. Fucking.
whatever.
I
Anyways,
hope
Trap,
everyone's
thank you
having a
for
good
joining.
night.
Till next time.
I'm gonna
Peace.
call the
Yeah,
other.
bye.
Peace.
Thank you.